Hello everyone, welcome back to another video. This is Bruna. Today, as you can see, it's an overload of cuteness that we have right here. So today I'm going to show you how to crochet a bottle holder because now it's getting warmer and we need something to carry our bottle of water or maybe drinks. If you carry bottle of drinks around, this is an amazing option for that. And also you can make with the same pattern little pot holders just like this one that I made for my hooks that goes around this little pot, yellow pot that I have. And you can also make many other projects using the same pattern. You can make a bigger bag for summertime, or you can also make a large basket for storing your yarns. So there are many possibilities for this pattern, so I really hope you like it. So if you want to learn this incredible pattern, come along and let's crochet this one together. So first here I have the yarns that I'm using. You don't need to use the same yarn for this entire project. You can mix and match exactly as I'm doing here. And all of these yarns are from Teslan.com. So first I have this one in which is called Tie Sublime, and this one is kind of like a corded type of yarn. And then for the other two yarns here, I am doubling them because then they are going to be the same yarn weight as this one. So just make sure that it's the same yarn weight. If it's not, just double the yarns as I'm doing here. So these two, I have here two different shades of green, and this one is the Iggy yarn. And then here I have the Frida yarn, in which is the beautiful shade called Margarita, which is incredible. Look at all the different shades. For this one here, I've just created with a plain yellow, so you can do that as well, or you can use a colorful yarn. And then for the tools, I am using a 4.5 millimeters hook, a small pair of scissors, and then a tapestry needle so that we can do the weave-ins at the end. So these are all the materials. So now let's begin with the tutorial. So what you have to do is to choose a yarn that is going to be the base for everything, and then the other two will be for the leaf, in which is the green one, and then a different color so that we can create the actual flower. So for the base shade, as you can see, I've decided to go for the Tie Sublime because it's a corded yarn, so it gives the support that the basket needs. All right, so I'm going to be starting with the Tie Sublime. Go ahead and get the first yarn you're going to be using. So first I'm going to be starting with a magic ring, and then I'm going to be chaining 3 right after because I'm going to be working with double crochets. And then around the ring, I'm going to be doing 13 double crochets, and we are counting the chain as a stitch, the chain 3 as a stitch. So in total, we should have 14 stitches going around the magic ring. All right, so once you have your 14 stitches, we can now pull the little tail nice and tight to close the magic ring, just like that. Find the chain 3 right into that chain 3 right on top into the first stitch, the first chain, slip stitch, and now we have the first round completed. So now to go up, all you have to do is to chain 3, and then we are going to be creating into that same stitch where we did the slip stitch, a double crochet. So now we are going to increase all the way around. So going to the next one, 2 double crochets, next one, 2 double crochets, and then the following one, 2 double crochets into the same stitch. and then repeat the same, creating increases into every stitch all the way down. And for this second round, you should have 28 stitches. So I'm going to be creating my increases all the way around, and then I'll meet you right at the end. So I got into my last stitch, so be sure that you do an increase. So 2 double crochets into the last stitch, and then go into the chain 3, into the first chain that you can find, slip stitch, and now we can start the third round. So I'm going to chain 3 and then double crochet into that same stitch. So we are always going to be starting with an increase right at the beginning if you are going to be making more rounds than I am here, all right? And then into the next one, I'm going to be doing only 1 double crochet, and then the following one is going to be an increase. So 2 double crochets into the same stitch, and then the next one, it's 1 double crochet, and then the following one is an increase. So repeat that same step, 1 double crochet increase, 1 double crochet increase all the way around, and then I will come back with you when I get at the end. And for this third round, you should have 42 stitches going around. So I'm here at the end, so the last stitch is going to have only 1 double crochet, and then you can slip stitch into the other side. So now from here, I'm going to now go up and create the walls of our basket. If you want, you can increase the sizing of the base to create a bigger basket. For example, if you want to do a basket to put yarn inside, to store yarn, then you can do that. I'm going to be leaving in the description how you make this base, the circle, bigger. All right, it's pretty simple. Just check the description if you want to make it bigger. So what we are going to be doing now, it's working into the back loops only, all the way around, and we are not going to be doing the increases anymore. So I'm going to first start with a chain of 3, and then I'm gonna go back loop only. You can see we have the front loop and then the back loop. Go into the back loop only of the stitch, and then double crochet. Go into the next stitch, back loop only, and then double crochet. We want to make sure that the right side, it's facing you when you're doing this, all right? Make sure that you're not on the reverse. So next stitch, back loop only, double crochet. And you're going to be repeating this all the way around without any increase. So you should have the same numbers of double crochets of stitches as the previous round. So 42 stitches. So I got here at the end. I'm going to be creating my last double crochet, remember back loop only, and then I'm going to slip stitch into the chain 3 at the beginning. So now we have the base now completed. We can chain 1, cut the yarn, leave a little tail so that you can weave in later, and then we can just fasten off. So yeah, this is the base for our basket. So now we are going to move on into the next step, in which is creating the green part of it, in which are the leaves, the stems, and then move on into the flower later. So bring the green, I'm going to be doubling the yarn as I've already mentioned. So I have here both green yarns together. So I'm going to first create a slip knot, and then I'm going to be bringing the base. I'm going to be starting right here where I have the fasten off, 1 stitch before that. So I'm going to insert my hook into that stitch. I'm going to pull up a loop, yarn over, pull through all loops. So that's how I attach my yarn in place. And then I'm going to be chaining 4. So 1, 2, 3, and 4. So 2 is going to be for the double crochet, and 2 will be the chain in between the V that we are going to be creating now. And into that same stitch, we are going to be creating a double crochet. So here we have the first V completed. So now we have to skip 2 stitches, So 1 and 2, and then go into the next one and then create a double crochet, and then chain 2 and another double crochet into that same stitch. So here we have the V, you can see better than here. So skip 2 stitches, 1, 2, into the next, create a double crochet, chain 2, and double crochet into that same stitch. And that's all we are going to be doing for the next round. So skip 2 stitches into the third, double crochet, chain 2, and double crochet. All right, so keep on repeating the same steps all the way around, and then I'll meet you right at the end. So I got here at the end and the pattern should work perfectly. So I have here 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 stitches left. So I'm going to be skipping 2 and then into the next one, double crochet, a chain of 2, and double crochet into that same stitch. And then as you can see, it works perfectly. So skip the next 2 following the pattern, and then we can just slip stitch into the second chain, counting here, skipping the single crochet, 1 and 2. So just a slip stitch like this, and then you're going to chain 1 and then cut the yarn and then fasten off. So now with the Frida yarn, I'm going to be creating the flowers, and we are going to be doing the popcorn stitch, or you can also do the puff stitch following the same steps. It's going to be completely up to you. So I'm doubling the yarn, as you can see, using 2 yarns at the same time. I'm going to be creating a slip knot. So now choose any, chain 2 to start. I'm going to be doing just before the fasten off, because then all the weave-ins that we have to do will be in this area. So go ahead and attach this yarn in place with a single crochet, and then after the single crochet, chain 2. So this stitch here is going to count as the first stitch for our popcorn stitch. So into this same chain 2 space, I'm going to be creating 3 double crochets. So now go ahead and pull a little bit upwards this loop and then release it from the hook. Go into the very first chain, the very first stitch. You're going to then pass this loop into the first stitch and then make it nice and tight. And by doing this, it's going to create the popcorn stitch, as you can see. If you don't want to do the popcorn stitch, you can also do the puff stitch, all right? So now we are going to chain 2, go into the next chain 2 space, right in between the V, and then we are going to be creating 4 double crochets into this chain 2 space. Here we go. So I have 4 double crochets. Just pull a little bit up the loop, release it from the hook, go into the first stitch, the first double crochet, grab the yarn, the loop, pass through the first double crochet, and now make it nice and tight by pulling both sides apart like this. And now you can just repeat the same. So chain 2, go into the next chain 2 space, create 4 double crochets, so now you're going to be pulling the loop up and releasing it from the hook, going into the first stitch from this group, the first double crochet, passing the loop through that first stitch, make it nice and tight, and then repeat the same again. chain 2, and then popcorn stitch into the next chain 2 space. So now you're just going to be repeating this all the way around, and then I'm going to meet you at the end so that you know what you're going to be doing next. And then to finish it off, chain 2, and then you're going to be finding the very first popcorn stitch, which is here. Just find any stitch right on top. Is going to be kind of angled, as you can see. It's just before the chain 2 into this stitch here. There we go. And then we can just slip stitch into this stitch, just like that. And now we can fasten off. So chain 1, cut yarn and fasten off. And now we have the next round completed. So we are going to be repeating this base row, this and this one, this 3 right on top of this one that we've just finished. And then this is the pattern repeat for our basket. And then you can do as many rounds as you need. As you can see, I've created just 2 sections with the pattern for this basket, but for this one I'm going to be doing a little bit more. So now you're going to be bringing the base shade again. For me is the Tie Sublime. I'm going to create a slip knot. So now choose any chain 2 space to attach this yarn. I'm going to be doing close to the fasten off. So going to this chain 2 space and then attach with a single crochet, chain 2, and then you're going to be creating a double crochet into that same chain 2 space. So now you're going to be finding that same stitch where you've created the slip stitch, which is here. So go into that stitch and then create a double crochet. So now you're going to be having the chain 2 space. Into the chain 2 space we are going to be doing 2 double crochets into that same chain 2 space, and then we are going to be finding 1 stitch right on top of the popcorn stitch. So I'm going to be doing this one, and then I'm going to be doing a double crochet right into that stitch, and then 2 double crochets into the chain 2 space, and then find a stitch right on top of the popcorn stitch, any stitch you can find, and then double crochet. So we are going to be repeating this all the way around. So I got here at the end and I'm going to be creating my last double crochet into any stitch on top of the popcorn stitch. And in total here we should have the same amount of double crochets as round number 4, which is this one here. So I have 42 double crochets. Now I'm going to go into the chain and I'm going to slip stitch both sides together. Now we can fasten off. So chain 1, cut yarn and fasten off. And we can now repeat the green round again. But now you can decide if you want to do a straight line of flowers, or you can put a flower in between these 2 flowers, so it looks like this. So there is 2 flowers here and then 1 in the middle, or you can do flower on top of flower. So it's going to be completely up to you. So I'm going to be showing you this sequence one more time, the pattern sequence. So go ahead and get the green. I'm going to create a slip knot, and now if you want to do the next flower in between these 2 flowers, you are not going to be using the stitch. All right, you are going to be using the space in between the 2 double crochets, so right here. So that's what I did for the other one that I've created. If you want to do flower on top of flower, you are going to be using this stitch right on top of the popcorn stitch, so this one here. All right, So in between the 2 double crochets, you're going to be attaching your yarn with a single crochet. So following the same steps as we've created here into round number 5. So I'm going to be starting with the chain of 4 and then double crochet into that same space in between the 2 double crochets. So here we have the first V. So now we are going to be finding the next 2 double crochets together into the next space here in between the flowers, and then go into that space in between the 2 double crochets and create the next V. So double crochet, chain 2, and double crochet into that same space. And that's all you have to do. So I'm going to be doing my V's here, and then I'll meet you right at the end. So now the last thing for this round is to slip stitch into chain number 2, counting from this first one and skipping the single crochet. So slip stitch, chain 1, cut the yarn and fasten off. So now you can bring the next shade, which is the Frida yarn. Create a slip knot. So choose any chain 2 space, attach a yarn in place, and then chain 2, create 3 double crochets, and then create the popcorn stitch as I showed you into round number 5. So now chain 2. So now go into the next V, the next chain 2 space, and create a popcorn stitch. There we go. So chain 2. So now follow the same steps all the way around, creating the popcorn stitches into every chain 2 space. And then I will be back with you right at the end. So I finished here with all of my popcorn stitches. I'm going to chain 2 at the end, find the very first one into any stitch right at the top, into the first popcorn stitch, you go into slip stitch, and then chain 1, cut the yarn, and then fasten off. So now here we have 9 rounds in total completed. As you can see, if you want, you can stop right here, which is what I've done for this other one. So I've done 10 rounds, because now you have to complete this one if you want to finish right here. And then I've created some picots right on top to kind of give a little finishing to our little basket. But now with this one that I'm crocheting right now, I want to do something a little bit different and create a bottle holder. It doesn't matter what drink you carry. It can be Coke, it can be Sprite, Fanta, any drink you are drinking during the day. You can take this with you and carry around, and you don't have to hold in your hands. You can just place it inside. So that's what I'm going to be doing using this beautiful pattern. So now you can carry on repeating the 3 last rounds of this pattern, in which is the pattern repeat. I'm not sure how many rounds I'm gonna do in total, but once I have them all completed, I will be back and then I'll let you know exactly how many I did. So as you can see, I have all the rounds now completed, and in total I've done, let me count here with you, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 times the 3 rounds sequence that I showed it to you. And then right at the top, I've created the double crochet round just right at the top so that we have the finishing, in which is what I've done for this one. And then I have the picots here at the top. But before I do the picots, I'm going to be doing the strap, because for this one, we are going to be doing the bottle bag. And if I measure, so it's folded right now, so let me measure this one for you. It's measuring 23 centimeters in total right now. And also my bottle fits perfectly inside my bag. Look at it. It's so cute. It fits perfectly. It's the perfect size for the bottle that I usually carry with me with water. And in total here I have 19 rounds from the bottom where we've started. So 19 in total. And I've also done the weave-in on the inside of the bag, as you can see, so it's nice and clean for us to move into the next step, in which is creating the strap. So first you need to choose the width you want to do for the strap. I'm going to be doing 3 centimeters. So that's 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 stitches in total. Yeah, so 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. You can do a little bit thicker if you want, or you can do a little bit thinner. So I'm going to be starting with a chain 1. All right, so chain 1 and single crochet into that same stitch. And then single crochet down into 5 stitches in total. So I have 1, 2, 3, 4 and 5. So these are the stitches that I'm going to be working with and creating my strap. So to go up, you're going to chain 1, turn project. So the chain 1 will not count as a stitch, and then we are going to go into this very first stitch, single crochet, and then you're going to single crochet all the way down. Make sure that you have 5 stitches in total. So we have 1, 2, 3, 4, and then the last one, 5. So chain 1, turn project, single crochet into that very first stitch, and then single crochet down, making sure that you have 5 single crochets in total. Right at the end, this is going to be the last stitch, single crochet. So that's what I'm going to be doing for the strap. I'm going to be doing 110 centimeters for the length of my strap, but you can decide if you want to do a little bit longer or even shorter. So it's going to be completely up to you. So as you can see, I have my strap now completed, and I have done 155 rows of single crochets. So all we have to do now is to turn our bag inside out. So we have the reverse on the outside now. You want to make sure that the strap is nice and straight and that is not twisted, because now we are going to be connecting here to the other side. So now we have to find 5 stitches here on the other side. I first find 1 stitch that is right here on the other side. So I just fold like this, and then I find 1 stitch that is here on the other side. So this is basically the middle of the other side. And then I go down 2 stitches. So here is going to be the first one that I'm going to be attaching the strap. So make sure that it's not twisted. All right, so we are going to be doing on the reverse. So you're going to be placing it like this. Double check to see if it's not twisted. So now to sew it in place, you're going to be turning the project. So now it's this way. And then you're going to be passing the loop through one of the stitches here on the other side. So pass this loop like this. Now you're going to be chaining 1, and you're going to be turning the project. So we are going to be doing the slip stitches on this side. So all we have to do now is to slip stitch, grabbing 1 stitch from the strap and 1 stitch from the bag, and then slip stitch. 1 stitch, the next one from the strap and 1 from the bag, and slip stitch, and then do this all the way down, covering all the next 4 stitches on both sides. All right, so now the slip stitch is completed. You can double check to see if your strap is not twisted, and also you can double check to see if your strap is nice and centered. So now from here I'm going to be creating the picots right at the top, and you can actually do from here on this side, because the single crochets and the picots will be already on the right side because we are working like this. So if you want to do the picots, they look like this, so it's super cute. but you can also leave it like this because it's really nice too. So we are going to be doing 1 single crochet into the next 3 stitches. So 1, 2, 3, and then we are going to chain 3 and then slip stitch into the back loop of the very first chain. So that's a picot. And then we are going to create 1 single crochet into the next 3 stitches and then picot right on top of this single crochet. So chain 3 and then slip stitch into the first chain at the back and then continue all the way to the end, which is the beginning of this strap. All right, so I have my last 3 stitches. As you can see, I'm getting close to the strap now, and all you have to do is just to slip stitch close to the strap so you don't have any gaps. And we have to now try to move from this side to the other so that we can also do the picots on the other side. So what I'm going to be doing is moving here on the reverse, and I'm going to try and do some slip stitches into a couple of stitches here from the back of these single crochets or even the double crochets. Any loops you can find, just create a few slip stitches until you reach the other side, as you can see. So this is going to be my last one, I think. Yeah. So now just find a next stitch to start your single crochets. I'm going to be doing this one, and then I'm going to be doing the same pattern as on the other side. So 1 single crochet into the next 3 stitches and then a picot right on top of the 3rd single crochet. So that's all you have to do. And by doing the slip stitches here, you don't have to fasten off and cut the yarn and attach again, so we don't have a lot of weaving to do here at the end. So continue on this side creating the single crochets and the picots, and then I'm going to meet you right at the end so that we can finish it off together. All right, so I got here at the end. It's going to be exactly the same as on the other side. I'm going to finish the 3 single crochets, and then I'm going to slip stitch into any stitch of the strap, and now we can fasten off. So chain 1, cut the yarn, and now we can fasten off and weave this in. So I'm going to weave in and show you the finished project. The weave-in is now completed. We can turn our bag inside out. And now our bag is completed. How fun! So here I have the bag now completed. It looks super, super cute. I love this so much. And also I love the little holder that I've created for this pot that I have for my hooks. Also, I am planning on making some for my plants as well to put around the plant pot, because it's going to look incredible in different shades, the little flowers. So which project are you going to be making using this pattern? Let me know in the comments. You can make the pot holder like I made for my hooks. You can make the bottle bag like this one, or also you can make a summer bag, making it a little bit bigger. Maybe I can share a pattern with you like that as well, with like a oval shaped bottom, and then you can make it bigger, or maybe a basket to put all your yarns inside. Imagine that's gonna look amazing too. So let me know what project you're going to be making using this super cute pattern. So I really hope you guys have enjoyed today's video. And also, if you end up making this project or any other that you're going to be making using this pattern, don't forget to tag me at Brunaticality on Instagram or Facebook so that I can show you some love and also see the different shades you're going to be using, making this incredible, beautiful pattern. All right, everyone, thank you so much for sticking out until the end. Don't forget to leave your massive thumbs up as you always do, and also don't forget to subscribe and to turn on the notification bell to receive notifications every time I post a new video. So thank you so much for watching today's video, and I'll see you on my next one. Bye bye.